Generous introduction and generous welcome to a giant, or at least an intelligent giant with compassion for the world it inhabits, must learn to move with care, or else injure those that it does not need to injure. The United States of America has a $14 trillion annual economy, the biggest on the planet. Our military budget is more than the next 17 nations combined. We wrote a column in response to a news item, which struck me as a sad example of the decline of American education standards. The news item was about a report which told us that only about 1 in 4 science teachers consistently follow the guidelines of the National Research Council, encouraging them to present students with evidence of evolution. There are days as a columnist when it seems like it would be a very good idea to find the nearest brick wall and bang your head repeatedly against it, and that was one of them. Now, I'm not telling you anything that you don't know, especially in a room full of educators and campus dedicated to education. You don't need anyone to tell you that we have entered an era wherein it often feels that something has gone horribly wrong in this country, an era wherein the rejection of knowledge, the inability to read and comprehend, seem an ever more common lifestyle choice. And yes, I will grant you that the country has always had a thorny relationship with intellectual, achievement. The knock against Adlai Stevenson back in the 1950s, after all, was that he was an egghead, i.e. An intellectual man who, because he was an intellectual man, could not relate to the cares and concerns of the average voter. Then, as now, there was a tendency to want to choose the president, by figuring out which one you would most like to have a beer with, as opposed to finding out which of them seemed to have thought the most deeply and the most sensitively about the challenges that we face at home and in the world. Some regard the giant's stupidity as a danger. They reason that when one is so big that one's merest movement or slightest utterance affects the whole world. American popular culture is the most influential popular culture on the planet. This is the birthplace of rock and roll and jazz, baseball. If we are to continue being that nation, we must insulate public school curricula from the corrosive effects of politics and religion. If we are to continue being that nation, we must wake up and realize that self-esteem is not something that you are given, it is something that you earn. Success came from more parental involvement. Success came from holding high academic expectations for our kids. Success came from providing counseling for troubled teenagers. Success came from encouraging stable and functioning families. Success came from letting kids know someone has made an investment in them, emotional and financial investment in them. Success came from reading. There was nothing particularly fancy about any of it.